Last night, while watching a 30-minute highlight reel of Draymond's technical fouls, a select panel of artists, academics, and people that acknowledge that every team that has scored 21 points on the Chiefs has beaten the Chiefs. Fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports television. It's an honor and it's a privilege. It's time for one of the best editions of Nick's Tears of all time.
Thank you so much, Kevin Wildes. And you are correct. The committee does acknowledge that every team that scored 21 has beaten the Chiefs. That stat is also true for every team that scored 21 on the Buffalo Bills has beaten them. Yet the media won't tell you that, will they? Luckily, you have the committee. First up, off the tiers.
Oh.
And you know what? Wildes, look. The Patriots promoted
Not bad.
from beneath the tiers to just eliminated. The only team beneath the tiers now is the Carolina Panthers. Those teams have all been eliminated for weeks and weeks. No one has joined them. But next week, at least one team will. Reveal the bottom row of the tiers. Relegation is back, and we have a Raiders-Chargers matchup on Thursday Night Football. That means it's a loser-leaves-town match. Also, the Jets playing the Dolphins. That's probably going to be a Jets-leave-town match. At least one, maybe two teams will be off the tiers when we reconvene next week. Next level, where did all go wrong? All legit playoff hopes before the season, and at different points of the season, they looked super alive. Now they're all 6-7. They're all hanging on for dear life. None of them right now look like good teams. The only reason that any of them are alive is because the NFC South is potentially only going to need 9 wins to win it, maybe even 8, and the 7th seed in the NFC, you might be able to get in at 9 wins. But all of these seasons have gone awry. Next, careful now. Steelers, Vikings, Packers. Pittsburgh was 7-4 with games coming up against Arizona and New England. Minnesota was 6-3 and seemed like things were going well with Denver and Chicago on deck. And then, I mean, they did win, I suppose, a 3-0 game against the Raiders, but can't feel great about it. And then you have Green Bay that was feeling good, like they had gotten their season back turned around, and then they lose to Tommy DeVito. So all three of these teams who 2 weeks ago you would have said they're definitely making the playoffs or they are in great position, they got to be very careful not to fall out of it entirely. Hey, we'll take it. Bucks, Denver, and Indy, they're 6-7 or 7-6. They're on the playoff fringes, and they are thrilled with what's happening. They can't believe that this is the situation. The Bucks were just trying to clear off dead cap. Denver was just trying to figure out if they could salvage Russell Wilson and if the defense could have any pulse. Indy was the one to spend this year developing Anthony Richardson. He gets hurt. Gardner Minshew comes in. All of a sudden, they're cooking. Listen, I don't know if they're making the playoffs or not, these teams, but they are playing relevant December football, and they are thrilled about it. Different paths, same destinations. Wildly different roads for these teams. For Cleveland, 4 different quarterbacks this season, the most injuries of any team in the league. They're going to make the playoffs. For the Rams, started the year off, wait, are they actually good? Then a month of no, they're actually terrible. Now wait, they might make the playoffs. The Lions start the year off amazing, now going in the wrong direction. The Texans have an amazing stretch in the middle of the year and then disappointing last week, but they're all going to the same place, to the postseason, where one singular playoff win is their absolute ceiling for any of these teams. So they all came from different places. They all end in the same place. All right, guys, it's a tier of elite quarterbacks. The Prince, Josh Allen, Jake Browning.
He's good.
Listen, guys, these are flawed rosters. These are defenses that can get got. These are teams that have given games away. But luckily for all three of them right now, they have quarterbacks that can, when need be, pull out superhuman performances. Bruce rolling his eyes. I assume that's at Trevor. It's certainly not at Jake Browning, who has done nothing but dominate. And if there was ever, Wildes, a classic Category 2 take, mine on the Bengals quarterback situation this year, I mean, it's going to go up in the Take Museum. Next! Headspin, windmill, jackhammer. Brew, what are all of those things?
Draymond's favorite place.
No, they are. I asked Brew, not you, Wildes. Thank you for stepping on once again the punchline. So let me try it again, guys.
Do it again.
Headspin, windmill, jackhammer.
Breakdancing.
Break there, you go, Brew. Breakdancing moves.
What are the Eagles doing?
Well, you know what? Upon further inspection, that defense, bunch of breakdancers, particularly that back seven.
Jalen,
they don't want
Hassan.
to. They don't want to hit nobody. You know what I mean? Greg, somebody wants to punch. They want to beatbox and do some flare kicks. That's just what I'm saying. Like Brew was saying, one guy's going to beatbox, one guy's going to flare kick. Wildes, Wildes. Sorry, stop it.
Quiet for
Nick
5
clearly was not
Next.
a breakdancer.
6 weeks to define an era.
Ooh.
Here's what I mean. These next 6 weeks will define an era if the Ravens can win the conference. Because if they can win the conference, it will validate what they have done over the last 5 years and give them real hope for the next 5 years. If they can't win it this year, with everything that's happened in the conference, there will be major questions about what will get them over the hump. The Chiefs, on the other hand, in a very different position. If the Chiefs this year, with this receiving core, with this record, still win the AFC, then what hope does anyone else in the conference have moving forward? Next, inevitable. So this is kind of through the eye of the beholder. Some people think inevitable, and they're like, yeah, the Niners are inevitable. They get a lead, they go downhill. Purdy's throwing dots, and C-Mac's doing great things. Debo's breaking tackles, Devon's killing people. Other people see inevitable and think the inevitable playoff collapse because the quarterback can't quite get there. We'll see what it is, but whatever it is, they deserve to be there. And then lastly, Pixie Dust, Football Gods, and podcast reviews. And by that, I mean this. It's the only thing you can use to knock the Cowboys right now. You know what? They're playing tomato cans. I didn't like the team when it was coached by Chan Gailey. Their owner says too much. I think Micah's podcast is bad. What you won't hear when people knock the Cowboys is anything about football. Because for 2 months, they've been the best team in the league. And that is this week's edition of the Tiers, Greg Jennings.
I actually really like the Tiers.
Really?
I like the names of the Tiers.
Thank you, Greg. I told you the committee worked really hard.
I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles, you guys are doing a lot of breakdancing.
Thank you.
I want to focus on the LA Rams.
Oh.
On that different path, same destination. They are taking a different path, and that path has come up with a lot of detours because, boy, they had to play the Ravens. Obviously, we saw what happened last week. They played the 49ers. They got to play them again. The Cowboys, they played a rough schedule. And Matthew Stafford somehow still has this team relevant. What this is not is the standings, so I don't care about their record.
Yeah.
I care about what they've been doing. And what Matthew Stafford has been doing is putting up numbers. When you look at what he's done in these since week 11, his last 4 weeks of play, touchdown to interceptions, he's balling. He's been known to throw some interceptions. He's getting dialed in. When you look at the yards down the field, if you look all the way at the bottom, you got to be able to make big plays at this stage in your career and the game and the season. They're doing that. I love what Matthew Stafford is doing. They got a running game that is rolling right now. When you look at these Rams, you don't really take them as a team or look at them as a team that can actually do damage. However, we saw what they did against the Baltimore Ravens and taking them to the brink into overtime. This is a team that if they get in, and I believe they get in, Matthew Stafford, he's been there, they have experience, they will make some noise postseason.
You know what, Greg? I have to consult with the committee, but in the committee's official archives, we might just flip the Rams and the Bills. You might have convinced us. We might just elevate them. That was a very compelling case, and I think you make some good points. Brew, go ahead.
Well, since you're in that mood, you're going to be moving some other things around.
Just do one team. Don't do the whole thing.
Well, the Cowboys are way too high.
Why?
Because the team that's right below them beat them by 32 points.
When?
That's some football.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
Boxing
history. I'm not talking about pixie dust and kismet and crazy podcast proclamations. I'm talking about football, not to mention the great win for the Cowboys over Philadelphia. Guess what the Niners did? Beat them even worse. All right, so that they should be ahead, and Baltimore should be ahead of the Cowboys as well. Both have the same record, but the Ravens have beaten 5 teams with winning records. The Cowboys have beaten uno. All right, so it's ridiculous to have the Cowboys that high.
Okay,
come on, stop.
Bro, can I just ask you real quick? What do the Ravens do better than Dallas?
Win football game, beat winning teams.
Well, you can't.
Beat winning teams.
Bro, okay, so then and then I
better
guess
defense too.
I don't know. I understand that. No, numbers-wise,
have
the
played
Ravens
a
are 11,
tougher
16
schedule. Dallas played the third weakest schedule in the league. And the Ravens' defense's numbers are still better.
Like I said.
So how's that
Not
for
a
you?
lot of-
That's some football.
Not a lot. There's nothing, but
football.
none of it is actually picking. This is my point,
Something.
and why the Cowboys are
I thought
top
you
of
did a
tiers.
great job.
Here's
Thank you. I mean, come
why
on.
you won't hear from anyone discounting the Cowboys. Something they don't do excellent. What you will hear is they should have petitioned Roger Goodell for a tougher schedule, or what you will hear is they had one bad day 2.5 months ago against San Francisco. What you won't hear is I'm worried about their ability to stop the run. I'm worried about their ability to score the ball. I'm worried. You won't hear any of that.
I'm worried about their ability to stop the Niners. How about
Okay.
How about that?
Also underdogs in Buffalo. I would like to move the Browns up. I have Browns are going to win a playoff game or at least one playoff game. I upgraded it. Here's why. I have 2 graphics and a personal story from an NFL source. Wow. Okay. First up, fewest yards per game. That's what the Browns are at. The Jets went to the AFC Championship game. Seahawks went all the way to the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, the Browns, that seems like a good historical precedent. How far are they going to go? Then it's like the issue is they can't score. Well, now that you have Joe Flacco, all the numbers are up. Passing yards, way up. Touchdown and interceptions, fantastic. Big throws, 4.5 a game, and obviously points are up. And then here's the story. Before yesterday's show, I went and talked to an NFL source, Super Bowl champion. And I said, hey, what's the deal with Joe Flacco? Is this guy like a real player? And he said to me in confidence, he said, he is. Look at his success with the Ravens. Great defense, good leadership, doesn't have to do too much. So there you go, a little inside knowledge from your old buddy
Is your
Kevin
source
Wiles.
sitting across the table?
Wiles, hold on. Can I just ask you an honest question? Whether your source is Greg or not.
I never reveal my source.
He didn't reveal his source.
But you needed to go. You went to an NFL
He
source.
told me other stuff
and
too, but I
asked
didn't.
you about Joe Flacco, and the inside information you got was he played for the Ravens.
How dare you.
And I mean, it wasn't like
You don't remember that, do you? You don't remember? 'Cause a long time ago.
Okay.
I'll never tell about. My source told me other stuff off the record that I can't reveal.
I would just prefer, if you would, the tier they were on was that they can win a playoff game.
No, I said at least one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you
Yours
got it in
says
the
only
AFC
one.
title game.
Well, I don't know. Did you see the earlier graphic?
Yeah, I did.
You want me to? You want to talk about more about? I'll talk to my source right now. I'm gonna call him in the break.
What are you looking at my phone?
Coming up next, Brock Purdy talking MVP.
Oh, God. Huh?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.